Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are taking a second look at Season 2, Episode 6, Find the Glitch. Specifically, we are looking at one theory that might explain Mitch's odd behavior while in the simulation room. Last time, we considered the theory that Mitch just honestly broke under the stress and genuinely suspected Miko of being a glitch. However, there's also loads of evidence for another theory that contradicts the first one, and this theory even itself splits into another two pathways that are both equally plausible. I will go into all three theories far more in depth in another video, but the basic idea is this. Mitch Williams has something to hide. Mitch knew perfectly well that there was no actual glitch in this room with them. Mitch knew that the evidence of his misdeeds, however, either his illegal gaining of XP or his outright treason against Shinobi, was recorded and might show up on the screen at any moment. So he deliberately steered the conversation and the video clips away from general topics that might reveal his misdeeds and deliberately kept the conversation and the video play focused off of him. Now, this would ultimately only be a delaying tactic because now Shinobi has that footage, and if they care at all, they can figure out exactly what Mitch did. But it will at least keep his fellow glitch techs off the scent. However, Mitch has been constantly shown to take care of his own. Aside from taking glitches in XP, he has never been shown to harm his fellow glitch techs. Even Five recognizes this and makes a point of it in the show. Whenever Mitch is going too far in hazing anyone, the argument that Five uses to get Mitch to back down is that the target is a fellow glitch tech. From both the audience and the cast point of view, everyone knows that Mitch won't actually hurt a fellow glitch tech. He respects the team. And he won't hurt the team, at least not according to Mitch's own sense of honor. And deliberately targeting a fellow tech to be the target of suspicion of being a glitch just to deflect attention away from his own misdeeds definitely falls into the category of hurting a fellow glitch tech, no matter how Mitch might stretch his moral code. Well, as we see in the episode I'm Mitch Williams, which we haven't gotten to yet, I won't give you any spoilers, but Mitch has what can be considered a catch-all excuse for doing pretty much anything. Even among lawful good heroes, and especially among lawful anti-heroes, the secret that Mitch is keeping, his canon excuse, allows for a lot of ruthless actions, and while still staying true to his moral code. If Mitch was protecting that secret directly or indirectly in this scene, it did give him justification, at least in his own eyes, to do whatever needed to be done, especially if you consider who Mitch actually turned on. Just previous to this in the BUDS episode, Mitch's clone outright stated that he saw and admired the bond between Miko and Five, that he had saw it as something good and strong, something that he wanted to have, but something that he feared he would never have. He knew that they would never turn on each other. The sad part aside, this means that Mitch has nearly as much trust in the bond between Miko and Five as they themselves do. So here we have Mitch. He has a secret he has at least his canon secret to hide from his fellow techs, if not a bigger secret beyond that. Either secret that will be revealed if he lets the videos play randomly. He has to direct the videos play away from himself without drawing attention to the fact that he is in fact directing the video play that way. So he uses the fear of a glitch to turn suspicion away from himself. But Mitch's moral codes demands that he does not harm his fellow glitch techs. He now has two competing moral imperatives. Don't harm his fellow techs and don't reveal a secret. So what does he do? He directs his attack at someone he knows can't be harmed by them. This is the cunning version of the smaller teammate in a rage of anger physically attacking a larger teammate. You attack someone you know you can't hurt so that you can let go of your emotions without feeling guilty afterwards. And in this case, Mitch directs his attack on someone he knows can't be harmed by them. Remember, in this theory, his only goal was to stall and keep the cameras off of himself until the room opened again. So first he attacks Five and then Miko, a very telling order of attack. Five, with his adorable personality, was probably the safest in the room after Bergie, even if he didn't have that bond with Miko. All of the techs respected and admired Five to the point that by this time in the show, Five was eclipsing Mitch in everything but the skill that only comes from experience. Mitch has seen the entire team rally around Five in direct opposition to himself during the clone event. Mitch very much punching up here. Five is almost invulnerable to Mitch's attacks socially. This makes Five the perfect target for Mitch's delaying tactic. Mitch can lob almost any attack he wants to at 5, and the rest of the techs will just roll their eyes and defend 5, which they do. This leads to a problem fairly quickly. 5 is just a little too secure in his social position for this to work for very long. The rest of the techs are already fed up to hear with Mitch's apparent self-centered behavior by this time in the show, and they refuse to let his theory go on. They refuse loudly and in unison. To keep control of the situation, to keep the cameras off of him, Mitch then turns the attention to Miko. This is still a very calculated move. Mitch knows that Miko isn't as universally liked and respected as 5 is. She's more vulnerable to social ostracism, if for no other reason than her own security. However, there's more to her vulnerability than this. Miko does not have 5's naturally tender heart and sensitive soul. She actually will mock and belittle her fellow techs. It's all in good fun, and she never intends to hurt them. But she has sent her humorous barbs at every tech, and even Phil. Sure, her fellow techs know she is joking and accept the stinging comments as jokes. They understand that she doesn't realize that she is hurting their feelings when she does, and that it's just a little too much to be pleasant and just jokey. But they understand that Miko isn't the most socially aware and isn't the most socially sensitive. And they understand that her self-absorption does make her a little less pleasant than 5's, but they still love her and they still respect her, but there's still that but. But Miko's presence is just a little more irritating than 5's. That is why Mitch attacked 5 first and dragged out as long as the others would allow, because he knew that 5's was the only person in the room who was in of himself secure from these attacks. But when it came down to brass tacks, Mitch knew that 5's at least would have Miko's back. Think about it. No other person in the room had that kind of relationship with anybody else. 5 and Miko were the only invulnerable targets that Mitch could have picked. Mitch trusted that 5 would pull some power of friendship argument out of his hat that would render Mitch's attack harmless. There was not a single other tech in the room who had that kind of bond with another. If Mitch wasn't going to sow permanent discord in his team, he could choose no other targets to attack except for 5 and Miko. Now, there's much more to this episode that I am going to have to watch it again, and probably again. Seriously, I'm sending so many plot bunnies to these creators for making me watch the clip show episode this many times. Whew. But anyway, a lot happens in this episode. There's a lot of new things, and it's easy to miss a lot of them. So, you have the big plot twist at the end, which is funny. You have Barbara showing up and dropping her fantastic hints that really does establish that the creators are recognizing the theory that there are artificial life forms, if not human glitches, at least some sort of artificial life form running around in this show. There's the hint that Barbara herself might not be everything that she claims to be. And given the length of time that Barbara and Phil have known each other, that raises some very, very interesting questions about who might or might not be a glitch. But there's also just so many interesting things. This really is an analysis of the team dynamics. Everybody makes jokes at Bergie's expense. And everybody kind of accepts this, even Bergie. Bergie is a rule follower. Hanish, we also, in one scene, we learned some interesting things about their work histories. There's one scene where the amount of data that each has stored on their gauntlets flashes up, and there's some very interesting things about Mitch in there. Look at the amount of data that Mitch has on his gauntlet compared to everybody else's. And then if you arrange and analyze it by who has the most data, you get some pretty interesting results. Like I said, there is just so much to analyze in this show. And of course, there's just all the internet references. This show was as much as a plot as this show focused on the plot and talking about the in-show theories. There are so many humorous YouTube references. It really is a funny show. So, what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Do you usually watch the Clip Show episode? Is this revulsion of Clip Show episodes just a weird quirk of my brain, or does anybody else share it? Leave a comment below telling me what you think about Clip Show episodes. Did Mitch crack under the strain of the fear, as we discussed in the last video? Or was he covering for some personal secret? And if he was covering for a personal secret, is it the secret that is revealed in episode 9? Or is it a secret that goes beyond that? So, did Mitch really suspect Miko, or did he respect her bond with Five so much that he trusted it would never fall to any attack that he could muster against it? Leave a like below if you agree, and leave a comment smashing me. Leave a like below if you agree, and leave a comment smashing me like Five's button if you disagree. Check out the Amazon link for a heartbreaking story of a family trapped by fate in dying embers, and peace out.